What's up guys, Asian here again with another dungeon guide video. This time it's going to be Crypt of Hearts 1. I will be DPSing this dungeon. As usual, we will be skipping over the trash mob fights, and once I explain the boss mechanics, we will go ahead and skip over the rest of the boss fight as well, just so you guys aren't sitting through several minutes of us fighting a boss. Overall, this is a pretty simple dungeon, pretty straightforward. This dungeon does drop Eben, and the last boss drops their mask, Ilambris, so this is a very popular dungeon to farm, especially for tanks and Magicka DPS. This is the first boss here, comes with 4 ads. You're going to want to burn those ads down immediately. This boss doesn't really have anything too special. He creates an ice ring around him, and he'll create a negate magic circle around him as well. It's pretty easy, just move out of the negate circle. He goes down pretty quickly. As you can see here, we burn him down really quickly. The next boss here, also pretty straightforward. There's a lot of dead bodies around. He will resummon them, reanimate them as zombies during the fight. Once he runs out of bodies though, he will stop summoning them. Target one random person and create that red circle. Just move out of the red circle. It'll stay up for quite a while. So just bear that in mind while you guys are moving around. Throughout the fight, he will kind of teleport himself to the center. He stays in the center the whole time. He will get a damage shield, and then he will do sort of a wave-like attack that hits everybody in the group. The damage that he deals is proportional to how much of the damage shield is left. So the more damage shield is up, the harder that attack hits. When he does this, he also summons some of those zombie ads. He also has a fear attack. You can just use break free out of that. That targets a random player. Once you beat him, you'll continue to move on. Once you get to the caves, there's a little alcove to your left. Check that alcove. There are sometimes up to 2 chests that spawn there. You're going to have to beat the mobs in order to open those chests though. This is the next fight here. This is a Skeletal Colossus. 2 attacks to be aware of. First one is he will do a charge attack on the tank, or whoever he is targeting at the time. Tank should ideally face him away from the rest of the group. Sometimes that just can't be avoided though, so if that does happen, DPS and healer just be aware of where the red line is. The other attack is a very large AoE attack centered on the boss. Right there, you should block through it. It does do some significant damage if your resistance are particularly low. Once he hits about 35% of his health, 35 to 33, he will run over to one of those glowing coals like he is right there, basically light himself on fire, and all of his attacks will now have fire, so when he charges he will leave a line of fire, and his AoE circle attack has a knockback effect right here, even if you manage to block it. But other than that, the way of fighting him still remains the same. Avoid the charge, block through the AoE circle. When you beat him, there's 2 ways to go. You can either go up the stairs or to the right down the hallway. Up the stairs is to this optional boss here, who's a lick. Doesn't have anything too special outside of normal lick mechanics, so he'll create the red circles around the person he's targeting and create those lich crystals that break and do some damage. That's the only attacks he has. He's pretty easy, straightforward. This boss is optional though. You only need to kill him if one of your members is doing the quest, or if you just want extra chance at drops. Once you beat that boss, you can continue down the hallway to the right. This is the next boss, just comes with a bunch of ads, doesn't have too much. He is a Nightblade, so he has standard Nightblade mechanics. He has that Bloodbind, Soulbind attack. That's really it. Not that difficult to deal with. The tank has a ranged taunt or some way of getting his attention, picking him out from the group of ads. Be a good idea to do that for this fight. Once you beat him, the final boss is on the platforms there. You have 2 of them. One is blue, One is red. The red one is a fire mage. The blue one is a two-hander. General strategy for this one: the tank will taunt the blue one and take him away, while the other DPS burn down the red fire mage. And each of those have their own sort of special attacks to have to deal with. The red fire mage will he'll create a line of fire targeted at a random person. He will shoot fire out from himself that go towards those statues along the back there. And he will do a large AoE knockback attack centered on him. He actually doesn't move from his location. So if you're a ranged DPS, just kind of stay out of that center platform and you should be fine. The blue one creates those sort of lightning bubble AoEs. Those last for a while. Just stay out of them if you're the DPS tank healer. And he has a heavy attack that the tank should block. It does do some pretty significant damage, and you should block that. The alternative strategy is to kind of burn them down at about the same rate. So once you get the red down to about 20, you focus on the blue, get that one down to 20, and so on. One thing the tank can do to make things a little bit easier is keep the blue guy near the center boss, the red one. That way the AoEs can also hit them if your DPSs are using AoE attacks like Elemental Blockade, Destro Ultimate, that kind of stuff. I'm going to skip ahead to the next kind of section of the fight here, which happens when you guys burn down either one of the twins. Here we burn down the red one, and so the blue one is going to get a new attack, and that's what you see there. It's a lightning storm, where he will just summon random lightning bolts that hit the stage at random ports. You just need to stay aware of where you're standing, avoid the lightning. One thing I have noticed, they do tend to strike the edges of the map, like around the walls, a lot more often. So if you are the tank, bring him back towards the center, so you don't he doesn't knock you into the side there, where if he's doing his lightning storm attack, it's probably going to kill you. Those lightning bolts do significant amount of damage. You can DPS and healer can normally take only 2 of them before dying, so it's very important to keep an eye on where you're standing. If you manage to burn down the blue one first instead of the red one has a similar move. It's just instead of lightning bolts, it's fireballs. This is one of the longer fights just because the 2 bosses each have about 5.7 million health. So like I said, you could just burn them down approximately equally to minimize the time you're spent in this phase. It's really up to you though. Most groups that I've run with, we just burn the red one down and don't really focus too much on the blue one too much. That's it for this dungeon guide video. Hope it helps, and I'll see you guys in the next dungeon.